WPVI from 6abc.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Scott Palmer, Dave Roberts, Lisa Thomas-Laurie, and Mark Howard.
Good evening. In the news tonight, the forensic pathologist who helped get O.J. Simpson acquitted in the criminal trial prepares to help for a wintry mess of snow and ice, but Mother Nature warmed things up a little sooner than we expected, leaving us all wet instead. We did get a blanket of snow overnight, a couple of inches in some areas, and it made for a pretty scene here on Main Street in Doylestown. Snow also covered cars and roads in Villanova, but even as the snow trucks were out salting this morning, overnight, they soon got help with the change to rain. By daylight, the roads were mainly just wet, which was a welcome sight for commuters. But with the rain came some minor flooding problems along the Jersey Shore. This is Ventnor and Monroe Avenue in Margate, and as you can see, the street is covered, but the water is not very high. In Trenton, the State House got some rain inside and out today because of a leaky roof. A fire truck came to the rescue to get maintenance workers onto the roof to seal the leak. Umbrellas went up in Wilmington as folks headed out this morning in Delaware, and there may be a little more snow tomorrow morning. Dave Roberts will have the AccuWeather forecast coming
for commuters. A mixture of snow and rain covered Route 70 in Cherry Hill. And News 10's Christine Perez shows us what people in Mount Airy woke up to this morning.
It was one of those strange mornings.
I was expecting a lot of snow.
It snowed, it rained, and then it turned to sleet. And through it all, David Jones was hoping for the worst.
When I woke up, I just hoped that it wasn't any school today, but it is. So I'm just kind of just going to go to school.
But David's bus came by on time, and for most folks here in Mount Airy who had to deal with the wet, cold, and dreary weather, life went on as usual.
And more paper, and more paper, and more paper. That's how it is. Start and stop, start and stop. I really hate it. I was expecting snow when I started, and I ended up with this. As you can see, it's not very nice, is it?
You can say that again. By mid-morning, some cars were still covered with snow, and the roadways were wet. People like this woman who got up early were trying to figure out how to deal with all this mess.
I'm taking off more slush than snow, and it's still not fun. I think I would have preferred the snow. It would have been a little less messy.
Slushy, not snow. And another thing I hate about it is when it's slushy, when you step in the water, it gets in your socks, and your socks get all wet.
That's about how a lot of us were feeling today, wet and wishing we could have just stayed home. It's a good thing it's Friday, that is if you don't have to work tomorrow, but if you get the weekend off, hope it doesn't go down the drain. In Mount Airy, Christine Perez, News 10.
One thing's for sure, it's a lot easier when it's light and dusty. When it gets heavy and wet.
Get out of the way early, easier.
Still ahead on News 10, don't start your weekend before...
You know, that's a big risk. But
you got to be sure of the answer before you make that question.
Got to give it to him for trying.
Right, John? That's funny, don't you, John?
You know.
Yeah. Hey, when that happens. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of a soggy Valentine's Day, although we had a little snow this morning, and we're looking for more precipitation tonight. What form? Well, let's get right to it, and I'll tell you what type. Hey, one of our WeatherNet schools, Lenape Middle School in Doylestown, came in with a high of 41. You had snow this morning, kids. The low is 25, sitting at 38 degrees right now, pressure rising. Humidity 97%. You picked up about an inch of snow up in Doylestown. All right, I got a little Valentine's gift for everyone. Let's get right to it. Bing! Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Temperatures in the 30s to the mid-40s, and we have a good deal of clouds around. Check out what's happening. Not much this year. Look at this, only 5.8 inches of snow so far this year in comparison to 48.4 at this time last year. We picked up about 65 inches of snow last year, so this has been a kinder and gentler winter. We have a winter weather advisory once again. This is for Saturday, and it's for the Lehigh Valley, as a storm system will bring rain, eventually some snow as well. Flyby from the greater Philadelphia region. There's round one, ding ding. That was a storm that came through overnight and this morning and made the roadways quite sloppy overnight and early this morning. Then the rain came in as predicted and washed away. all that snow. Now round 2 comes in later on tonight, let's say around midnight or so, in the form of, well, there goes the rain. It's in the form of rain for tonight, folks. Temperatures in the 40s, just too mild for any snow tonight. However, as the storm system begins to swing off the coast tomorrow during the day, watch the rain come in overnight. It may end as some wet snow tomorrow morning, especially true in the Lehigh Valley, and that's why we have the winter weather advisory. So rain tonight after midnight, rain that may briefly change the wet snow in and around the city before it ends late tomorrow morning, and there may even be some accumulation of snow in the Lehigh Valley tomorrow morning and the Poconos as well. For us, I don't think so, although it may come down briefly hard for a while and then quit just like that. So your forecast officially for tonight, cloudy skies, rain developing late, 34 to 38 degrees. So if you have any travel plans tonight, going to any dinner or anything like that, don't worry about any slick roadways or icy roadways, simply wet roadways. Tomorrow, rain may change to wet snow briefly before it ends. We may get to see a little sun before the day is through. Temperatures tomorrow around 40. And I'll be back in a little bit to tell you about the second half of this upcoming weekend, which, Tracy, may pose to be your favorite word, somewhat interesting.
Something interesting.
Interesting.
Which translates into snow.
Yeah,
John.
you're right. You're right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Being more dreary on Valentine's Day, Dave Roberts.
Right, Lisa. With the cloud cover hanging on, we had fog to contend with. Of course, overnight hours, we had some snow. Officially, Philadelphia got almost 3/4 of an inch. The folks up in Allentown and Reading got more. Reading picked up 4 inches of snow. We really got a break on this system, too. But we're not quite out of the woods yet. But it is Valentine's Day, February 14th, a Friday. Let's go with the 5 o'clock numbers, and then we'll show you action radar and talk about what's coming for the weekend. Present temperature reading at 40 degrees, humidity 66%. The barometer 2994. It is falling. Breezes are out of the west. The velocity 8 miles an hour. Yesterday's high 34 degrees. We did very well today temperature-wise. We got up to 45 degrees. The normal high is now up to 41, so we're 4 degrees above normal. Good evening. And our low was 28 degrees early this morning. The call from AccuWeather for this evening is the cloud cover that we have now is going to stay with us, and we're also going to have some rain a little bit later on. So there we go. Rain later after 10 p.m. The overnight lows, we're looking for 30 to 34 degrees. Now, the reason for that, you can see on action radar. Take a look at the system, and you can see another system moving away. Now, the one up to the north is what passed through early morning hours, now up into New England. The other system, kind of hugging the coast there in the Carolinas and creeping in our direction, is going to bring us that rain a little bit later this evening, probably around 10 o'clock or a little bit thereafter. So the rain shall return. What about the weekend? Here is the call from AccuWeather. On Saturday, we're looking for some AM wet snow, a possibility. The system, when it does go through, could end as a little snow, and that may be around Saturday morning, but then things will clear, and then we're looking for sunshine and a high of 44 degrees. So the mild air is in place now, in contrast to yesterday at this time when we had cold air in place. And then on Sunday, AccuWeather's call is sun and clouds, a high of only 39 degrees, but we're looking for a period of snow on Sunday night, possibly into Monday morning. So Monday morning's rush is something that we'll have to continue to watch. It may be of concern. So it is wintertime. The systems keep moving, and we keep dancing around. 40 degrees, cloud cover out here. More rain is on the way.
Next on WeatherScope, so much for a sunny St. Valentine's Day in the south. Heavy rains and thunderstorms drench the region, and there's the potential for more severe weather again tonight. And the weekend holds a brighter outlook for most of the nation. Those stories plus in-depth forecasts and analysis in this edition of WeatherScope.
A tornado watch is accompanying a line of thunderstorms moving through the southeast today. Hello, I'm Mike Bono. For the details on stormy and potentially dangerous weather, we go to the Forecast Center with Jill Brown.
Okay, thanks, Mike. We've been in pretty good shape the last few hours. A few thunderstorms, definitely some heavy rain out there. However, we have not had many reports of severe weather. We think that may be changing. Take a look at the overall picture here. You can see all of that rain. Moisture just streaming in from the Gulf of Mexico will mean 1 inch to 2 inches of rain, perhaps more in some locations. This is the general area of our thunderstorms, although we also have some right with this band here. It looks like once that upper level trough kind of comes in and catches up with our surface front, which is somewhere through here, then we are more likely to see intensifying thunderstorms. That may be within a few hours from now. So right now, things are pretty quiet. Just a rainy, cold, raw day, and they were feeling it in Atlanta, Georgia. Woke up to dry conditions, but it didn't take long for yesterday's weather to return. Another wet day. Folks are getting by as best they could. Temperatures were in the mid to upper 30s. And as you can see, walking down the street there, had to have the umbrella overhead. It's going to be a wet night for Valentine's Day. And a lot of folks out, I'm sure. So be prepared. A little cold, a little wet out there. Better tomorrow. We think that it's going to be drying out in the southeast. But for right now, we do have a tornado watch in effect, and that's for southern sections of Georgia down into Florida. They have chopped off part of the western extent as the threat of severe weather moves to the east. This is the first watch of the evening. Again, a tornado watch means the potential for severe thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes. This is in effect until 7. Certainly possible that we'll see more watches issued as the evening wears on. So again, right through this area, that's where most of the thunderstorms are at the present time. They're moving to the northeast at around 30 miles per hour. It looks like as this whole front moves its way down into north central Florida, we will have the threat of severe weather down through perhaps the Daytona Beach area and even a little bit farther south, maybe to Tampa. So that's during the overnight hours. For right now, heavy rain, especially on the southeast side of Atlanta. Macon, you had some real heavy rain earlier. That has moved off to the northeast, and it looks like the heaviest downpours now are coming through the Augusta area. Otherwise, back in Alabama and Mississippi, as you'll be able to see, it's generally light rain. Here's the latest on the lightning data. White flashing indicates lightning strikes recorded in the last 10 minutes, and that lines up right with that cluster of thunderstorms that we were showing you. Again, if you're back here around Tupelo, Jackson, New Orleans, light rain. Doesn't look like you're going to see the brunt of the real heavy stuff this go around. In the Carolinas, you have had some heavy rain, and there probably will be more to come as that area of low pressure moves northeastward. You may even get more thunderstorms late tonight. Last of the rain tomorrow morning, and then we're in good shape. So in the meantime, threat of heavy rain through here, possible flooding right along our front, the threat of severe thunderstorms. Out ahead of it, it's been quite a day in Florida as temperatures have been in the 80s, just dropped below 80 in Jacksonville, Tampa, and Miami. You can tell the front's right through there. Behind it, the colder air. Real difference in these air masses, and that's what's creating the threat of severe weather. And again, thunderstorms may be intensifying in the next few hours. We're going to be on the lookout for severe thunderstorms. There could be more watches issued through the evening and even the overnight hours by tomorrow morning. Most of this will be moving out, but probably not before we see some damage and the possibility of some flooding. So that covers the southeast with better weather on the way for Saturday. In the northeast, we're hoping for the same. Better weather for Saturday, but for tonight, it's snowy and icy out there. Mike?
Thanks, Jill. Since this morning, we've been watching a wintry wet mix of precipitation move through the northeast. We've been tracking this system as it moved across the country. Let's see what it left behind. In Memphis, the system that's bringing the snow to the northeast today moved through yesterday. It started as rain before changing over to snow, cold air wrapping around the system. Flakes continued coming down till noon north of Memphis. It got a lot worse. Well, Memphis getting a few sprinkles and maybe some snow flurries overnight tonight. But elsewhere, kind of dark overnight, and let's take a look right now at the current weather map as we look at low pressure. A couple of them. One of them is down in the southern part of the United States, and the other one moving on up the coast. And they've been moving in tandem. We've been following both of these lows for a couple of days coming on through. And if you remember, just this time yesterday, low pressure, this one was right around here, and this one was bringing snow to West Texas. So they're kind of going around an upper level trough, and much to the chagrin of folks in the northeast. Now, Portland's been kind of interesting. You were snowing pretty hard. Then now, last hour, your heavy rain. Augusta, Maine, on the turnpike has been coming in with some sleet after getting snow. Bangor still snowing a little harder up around Holden and Caribou. Concord has had a rough day. Still freezing rain, lighter than before. And around Utica, that freezing rain coming in, although some snow in the Rome-Utica area. But still, Burlington with snow, Montpelier's been getting rain. It's a mess. Low pressure right around New York and Long Island, so it just won't quit. And actually, the pressures are still falling rapidly in Maine, but half of that is because a huge high is moving out to sea. The heavier precipitation ending rapidly now. Eastern New York, parts of Vermont, still some light snow, Burlington, up around Berlin, New Hampshire, and Mount Washington. Then the rain comes into southern Maine, and the snow resides in the north. We're seeing no big deal around Boston, no big problems, although it doesn't show up on radar. Worcester is getting freezing drizzle. So with Springfield, the Hartford area, some freezing rain and even snow mixed in. Up the Connecticut Valley, you're getting some ice. But on into Maine, it's Bangor with snow, I-95 getting the snow, And down around the main turnpike, that's where you have just a little bit of everything going on right now. But the overnight turnover to snow should bring you new, lighter amounts of snow, fluffy amounts around the Catskills of New York, eastern PA, down to West Virginia, and maybe less than an inch all the way down to North Carolina and Tennessee. But look at this, 6 to 12 showing up in parts of upper Michigan. A cool front coming down over Lake Superior, so that gives you some lake effect snow. As we see temperatures in the 70s, well into the 70s in southern Cal, thanks to the Santa Ana winds. We have the wind flow blowing over that ridge, bringing rain and mountain snows in the Cascades pretty high up, 5,000 feet or better, and the same thing going on in eastern Washington and on into Montana. Let's go to the Midwest now and see how the plains, the Great Plains, will be doing over the next couple of days. We're looking at a big change, and this is what we're looking at. The Saturday morning weather map showing low pressure scooting on up off the east coast, and another front zipping on down through Canada and hitting the St. Lawrence Valley. Okay, now we'll check this one out. The chilly air directed south with some cold air up around Hudson Bay and James Bay, but the jet stream kind of stretching out. It's like there's a tug of war going on, and the line is going to straighten out, so that's going to bring warmer air up. Minneapolis, usually 26, gets up to 42, and on into Kansas City, your typical temperature this time of the year, 36, or it'll be 36 Saturday, typically 41. How about 60 Tuesday? Do you like that? It's been crazy. Maybe the groundhog will be cheering about that one. Okay, let's take a look at the rainfall tonight. We're going to see an inch, and the tail end of that again will be snow, as a lot of this is snow in the mountains of Montana and Idaho. Yellowstone country getting 6 inches or more, and finally the Colorado Rockies for the big 3-day ski weekend is benefiting. Okay, we've got some snow, West Virginia, Virginia on into the Catskills, and northern Maine. New York City will get some flurries, it looks like, along with Philadelphia. Teens in Chicago overnight, and about that in Kansas City. Then tomorrow, more Santa Anas, why not? Up to about 80 in Los Angeles, maybe San Diego. 60-degree line getting awfully close to Dallas, so it's warming up. 70s in Tampa, but the north still below freezing in Pittsburgh. And between Sunday and Monday, you may have to be shoveling again, because low pressure, that clipper we were seeing tomorrow on the map, is speeding toward, say, the Jersey Shore for Sunday, so there could be a shield of steady snow, maybe accumulating snow from southern New England into New Jersey, and led off by some snow in the Great Lakes, and Cincinnati, say, and Cleveland. Now, by Monday, high pressure takes shape here, the departing snows in the northeast, and some rain and mountain snows in a lot of the west. You want to stay tuned. The local forecast will pinpoint it in your area for the weekend.
And now, Philadelphia's only primetime news hour, honored by the Associated Press as the best newscast in Pennsylvania, the Fox 10 o'clock news.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Bolden.
And I'm Jill Chernikoff. Here's
right now, will it change back over to snow? For some of us, it will. Let's check out the almanac page for today. 45 degrees this afternoon, a low this morning of 28. Normal high 41 over 24. Record high 74 back in 1949. There's the record low of 3 degrees. Sunrise getting a little earlier each morning at 6:54, and sunset at about 5:37. Right now, Philadelphia International, 37 degrees, about 10 degrees warmer than we were last night, and that's why it is raining right now, not snowing. Humidity 79%, barometer on the rise, winds west at 7, and earlier, counting the snow and rain melted down, we picked up about a ½ inch of precipitation. How about earlier today? This is what the numbers look like stacking up as far as snowfall totals. Wilmington only about a ½ inch. Philadelphia 7/10 of an inch or so. A little more in the Lehigh and Susquehanna Valley, about 2 to 3 inches there. And Reading had the top honors today. They checked in with about 4 inches. But right now, looks like we have more snow on the way up north and a mixture of some freezing rain as temperatures there are getting close to freezing. 1 to 2 inches expected, and that'll come early in the morning, and that's for Berks, Lehigh, Northampton, Warren, and Sussex in New Jersey. And again, you'll have some travel problems there in the morning hours. Poconos this time around, looks like most of the precip will stay south of you, maybe just a little bit of a snow shower activity towards the early morning hours. Temperatures right now are pretty much above freezing here in Philadelphia, south and east, and even west in Harrisburg, but that's where the winter weather advisory is posted, because we're getting close to freezing there, and those temperatures will fall down just a little bit as some colder air starts to move in. A lot of moisture. This is like deja vu from last night. At this time, we were showing a lot of moisture in the way of snow moving in. This time it's rain. Another system moving on the heels of the other system we had this morning getting in here. Now again, mainly rain here. This is all rain. No areas in the Jersey, Philadelphia area and down to Delaware, Maryland reporting any snow at this hour. And here is that rain moving in. A little moderate band now in Chester County off to the west and eastern Lancaster County, heading out towards Coatesville and places like that. You're going to have a heavy shower and they extend to Baltimore and Washington. So north and west of Philadelphia, some heavy rain overnight tonight, even a few heavy showers here in Philadelphia and down into South Jersey. Now tomorrow morning it will be wet just like it is right now. A little wedge of cold air moves in, so we may see this end as a few wet flakes. Don't expect any problems in Philadelphia, but maybe northwest Bucks and Montgomery, a slushy 1 inch of snow. And then by the afternoon, the sunshine starts coming out. We'll get around 40 degrees or so. This colder air moves in Sunday and Monday. We'll have a quick system move in on Monday with a chance of light snow again. It's been a wild roller coaster ride, and check out what's going to happen next week. Now, Monday, the bottom drops out. 30 for a high, 14 a low, some snow showers, light snow. But look at Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yeah, bring on that surge of warm air as we jump into the 50s to the middle to later part of next week. So here's your forecast for overnight tonight. Rain right now, mixture up north a little later on, 34 degrees here in the city, about 30 degrees in the Lehigh Valley. For tomorrow morning, looks like a few flakes early on and some showers, otherwise clearing, 43 degrees. For tomorrow night, temperatures colder, 25 in fair skies, Poconos and shore. Shape up like this, 35 in the Poconos, 43 in the shore. Your extended forecast as we take you through the rest of the weekend. Fair skies on Sunday, colder, a very wintry type of day on Monday with some snow showers or light snow. And then the rebound begins on Tuesday. And look at Wednesday. Jacqueline will like that. Jill as well. 51 degrees. Get outdoors and get the car washed by then.
All right. Absolutely. And you'll like this.
Continues in the southeastern part of the country in the form of heavy rain. 24 hours ago, we were talking about ice and snow in parts of the southeast mid-Atlantic, but now it is all rain. This is what it looks like on the surface map. Low pressure moving up the stationary front. There's two lows on the front. This one is the one that brought all the lousy weather with the freezing rain, the ice storm in the Carolinas, the heavier snows in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. That low is now exiting stage northeast. We have a little light snow and freezing rain in northern Maine, but here comes the next low with very heavy rains falling from Tallahassee up to near Atlanta, Georgia, Columbia, Greenville, up to near Norfolk, Virginia. Lots of heavy rain falling right now. As we zoom into that region, you can see the low pressure area sitting near St. Simon's Island with the heavy rains continuing. And there's a long fetch of moisture all the way from the Gulf of Mexico, the tropics, so to speak, all the way up into Georgia and Carolinas, up into Virginia this evening. Some of those heavier rains approaching Washington and Baltimore. But again, temperatures way above freezing. This will definitely be a rain event, except in some of the higher elevations here in West Virginia, mountains of western Virginia itself. Several inches of snow could fall, but that's about it. Look at how much rain has already fallen through 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tallahassee about 2.6 inches. Valdosta, Mobile, New Bern, Macon about 1 to 2 inches. Some heavier rain still falling around the Valdosta area. If we could look at a radar from the southeast right now, the radar will show us the heavy thunderstorms, and we'll zoom into this region in just a moment. But again, look at all this moisture now. The lightest green color indicates some very light rain or drizzle, but look at all this medium shade of green, dark shade of green, all the way from Atlanta, south of Anniston to Montgomery, back here to Dothan, Enterprise, along I-10, and then southward to Fort Walton and Destin. Lots of heavy showers. And there's where the thunderstorms are as we zoom into Valdosta, Georgia right now on the radar. You can see it. Here's I-75. You can see I-75 through Valdosta. And watch these nasty-looking thunderstorm cells move rapidly up to the northeast. Just move through Melrose and through the Valdosta area right now, heading up to the northeast. Some of these could be severe, at least strong, producing hail, damaging thunderstorm winds, lightning, possible some brief heavy rains, things like that. So watch out if you live in this area north and east of Valdosta. These could be some nasty storms. We'll have to keep a close eye on those over the next couple of hours. Further north, you see the rains moving through Washington, Baltimore. This is all rain again. Don't worry about the frozen stuff. This is rain. Temperatures in the 40s for the most part. Rain heading towards New York City. Rains approaching Philadelphia, Trenton, eventually up to Hartford and Boston, but the rain is not going to move much farther to the west than you see it here, and that is good news. Travel trouble problems in the southeast. We have a flash flood watch out for western South Carolina, extreme east central parts of Georgia, Augusta, Columbia, under a flash flood watch. Another 1 or 2 or 3 inches of rain possible in this area. Secondary roads especially could be flooded in some cases. Small streams, creeks, rivers, so watch out in those areas. And you see a little pink on the map? That's where a little bit of snow could fall up here in the mountains of West Virginia. Snowshoe, I'm not sure the exact amount. Several inches of snow fell overnight last night. History repeating itself 24 hours later, a few more inches of fresh powder and snowshoes. That's good news for you skiers. As we look around the country, again, that's the area, or at least the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms, South Georgia and extreme northern parts of Florida. Into the northeast, you can see that rain on the surface map approaching New York City again as that low just off your map moves off to the north and to the northeast. There's that little stripe of 1 to 3 inches possible. Extreme northwestern New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, down to the mountains of West Virginia. Heavier snows here around the central and eastern UP of Michigan. We have lake effect snow warnings in effect for heavy snows due to the adjacency of Lake Superior enhancing some of those heavier snows. Light snows as you move back into the northwest, but some spots could locally pick up 6 inches or more. Good news for your skiers here. Extreme northern mountains of Colorado, Rocky Mountain National Park could pick up 6 to 7 inches of snow. Temperatures around the country right now, cool over the northern plains, chilly in Minneapolis, St. Paul, the teens in Iowa for the most part, even cool in the south, the deep south only in the 40s. Still out ahead of that front, Florida still basking in the 70s. Wind chills, nothing too severe. The coldest on the map, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, one of my favorite towns, 8 below zero. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's freezing in Atlanta at 32, even though the air temperatures are in the low 40s. And watch out for those wind chills down to 20 below in the northern plain states. Your good evening forecast starts in the northeast.